Okay, shall we make a start? There is a chat box, before I forget, in the right-hand corner of your screen. So if you have any questions while we're going through this, feel free to put them in the chat box. Between me and Charlotte, we'll be monitoring it, but we will stop at the end and just answer any questions that anybody has. We'll leave time for that. So today we're going to show you what myAbilia is all about. Some of you may have joined us on the previous webinars where we've talked about Handy Calendar. And myAbilia is kind of the backup to Handy Calendar app, and also works with Memo Planner, which we'll be doing a webinar on later. So the myAbilia is the web-based backup. So this gives you access to a user's calendar. So for those of you that haven't been on before, the Handy Calendar and the Memo Planner are calendars that will support somebody in their daily life, and users can add support people. So it could be a family member, it could be a teacher, it could be a support worker, it could be somebody that's helping them with getting into work, and those people will have access to what's called myAbilia. So as you can see down the side, it can offer remote support through lots of different avenues. And also you can make changes to a person's calendar. So if you're supporting somebody and there's been a change to what they're doing for the day, you can add that straight into the calendar. If there's been an appointment that you've booked for them, maybe for the dentist or a doctor's, then you can add that straight into their calendar as well. You can also check that things have been checked off by the user. So within the myAbilia calendar, you'll see, for instance, an activity that says take medication, and you can make that checkable. So you can go into the myAbilia side and check that the person's actually checked off that they've done those things. You also have the option to set yourself up in various different user guises, but I'll go through that in a second. So to create a myAbilia account, you need to go to myabilia.com and create, and you'll enter your password and username. If you haven't set up an account already, then you've got the option at the bottom to create an account. You can also, once you've created your account, it will give you the option to download it as a web app onto your phone or onto your computer. And that means that you'll just have a little icon. It's not a true app, but you'll have an icon on your screen that takes you straight into myAbilia. And you can access myAbilia on tablets, on phones, on laptops, on PCs. So if you're working in the care home and you're supporting lots of different people, then you'll be able to look at all their calendars on your whatever device you're using. So when you go through and create an account, this bit sometimes confuses people. You will have the option to set yourself up as a user, a support person, or an administrator. We do offer a 4-week free trial of the Handy Calendar. So if you do go through and trial it for yourselves, set yourself up as a user, and that will give you full access to all of the calendars. If once you've set yourself up as a user, then you can use the login details that you've created to log into the app. The app is available from, for Handy Calendar, the app is available from the appropriate web store. So whether you're on Apple or whether you're on Android. And you can download the app as many times as you want to. So if you've got an Apple iPad and you've got an Android phone, then you can download the app onto both and use the login details that you've created to log into as many apps as you need to on as many devices as you need to. The support person role would be anybody supporting the user. So the user can invite support people. They can invite a parent or, like I say, a family member, anybody that may be supporting them. And you can have multiple support people as well. So you could have a family support worker, a social worker, somebody that's helping them get into work, college tutor, anybody that's supporting that person. And the administrator role is slightly different, and that's something that we would help people set up. So ignore that one for now. The administrator would have access to multiple account licenses. So that person would be the person that's in charge of handing out the licenses. They don't have access to see the calendar or any of the user details. They can just change licenses about if somebody's tried it and didn't like it, and then they could be moved to somebody else, and they can create different accounts. So I'm going to pass you over to Charlotte, who's just going to go through Handy Calendar and Memo Planner briefly before I show you myAbilia live.
Hi everyone. So our Handy Calendar is our app that's available on iOS or on Android, and you can use it on a tablet-sized device if you want to, or on something smaller like a smartphone. Essentially, it's just time management and time planning to build independence and maintain kind of timekeeping skills. So you can put in different activities. For the example here is school. This is my teenager's one from year 9. So he has his school routine on here, and activities can pop up with an alarm. They can pop up with just a reminder. It gives him a sense of kind of time in terms of where he needs to be, what he needs to be doing. You can tailor it in terms of pictures or words, so it doesn't have to be either or. It can be both. You can put voice messages on there if you've got an individual that needs a little additional support with things like verbal reminders. You can input physical addresses and have a link to an address so that the individual can then follow a Google map. You can input a contact number for emergencies. You can add in URLs. One that Sarah loves, I know that we've kind of talked about this quite a few times, is a link to the what's it called, the NHS website that does loads of recipes for healthy living, which is really fantastic. And so you can put links to things like healthy recipes, healthy activities, things that the individual enjoys doing. It comes in so many kind of different ways and means, so you can tailor it, as I say, to the individual's needs. But it's a really fantastic timekeeping app and really kind of manages school, home, study, work skills, and just kind of whatever you need it to tailor it to. So our next slide is our Memo Planner, which essentially kind of does the same thing, but on a dedicated device. So we've got a large or a medium one, and instead of having it on a phone or an iPad, if a user needs more security and more safety, it essentially just kind of keeps everything just on one device, and you can't access sort of other apps and other things that might distract that person or pose a little bit of a security risk. Again, it works on the same principle. You can have the day divided up between daytime and nighttime, or home and work, or home and school. You can add in your voice notes. You can add in different activities with words and with pictures. You can take photos again. So with the Handy Calendar and with Memo Planner, you can take pictures of the individual's actual home. So you can take photos of their clothes, their utilities around the house, the activities that each user enjoys doing. So it means that it's very, very personalised. And again, it's just another way to maintain positive routines and positive timekeeping skills, but just in a more secure way than Handy Calendar might provide for someone who needs a little kind of guidance in that.
If you have missed our previous webinars on Handy Calendar that goes into it in more details, just let us know in the chat box and we can send you a link to rewatch the webinar. So now we're going to go live to myAbilia, fingers crossed. Bear with me a second. Can you see that on your screen, Charlotte?
Yeah, I can see that one.
Perfect. So this is how myAbilia looks. Much the same as Handy Calendar. You have this day view here. On the day view, you have the timeline, and this is the same on the Handy Calendar and the Memo Planner, which shows you whereabouts you are in your day. So this demo account has been set up for somebody in work. So if they looked at this now using more or less and the quarter-hour principle, which we've talked about in previous webinars, you can see that you're pretty much halfway through your morning work. There is also the option of having a week view. And the myAbilia account is generally used by a support person rather than the user themselves who would have it on their device. And there's also a month view as well. So if we go back to the day view, you can see on the day view that somebody's calendar has completely been set up from their morning wake up routine all the way through to their nighttime routine. And if you see on clean tables here, there's a green tick, and you can see from the green ticks, lay the table, clean the tables, put the tablecloths on. Those green ticks indicate that that task has been completed. So I'll quickly run through some of the features of myAbilia. We will have training videos available on this as well. So you can set up basic activities into a library. These ones are generic ones that myAbilia, that Abilia have put in, sorry. But you can set up new ones. So you can set up a new folder. So for instance, if you had just work related activities that you wanted to set up, you could set them into a new folder that labeled work, and then set up a new basic activity. And in there you would just go through the basic activity, start times and end times. If you wanted to make it checkable afterwards, the category is for colour coding, and those of you that's in the webinar before, we go into more details on that. I can show you, you can colour code to the person's day. So on the main screen, when we go back, you'll notice that everything in blue is colour coded for work. And you can change the name of these if you want to as well. So you could have it as work, home, doctors. If you wanted to use the traffic light symbols for high anxiety or things that the person really likes doing, then you can do that as well. So you can create your new basic activity and save it, and it'll be in the home screen here, and then you can drag and drop these wherever you need them to be to sort them out. This means that when you go into the app, if you're adding an activity from the app, you don't have to reset it up each time. You can literally just take it from your library. And these things are easier managed on myAbilia. So the same goes for basic timers. When you go into the app, you'll have a basic timer. So the ones that you see on the screen will be the ones that will be available in the app, but you can create a new timer. So if there's a specific activity that you want somebody to be doing and there's a specific time frame for that activity that's not available on the app, then you can set it up in your basic activities. And again, you can set up a folder for that as well. So you can have maybe work related, school related, home related activities, all in different folders with different timers, and then you can pick that up and drop it into a checklist, into an activity, sorry. The same goes with checklists. So in here we have the ones that Abilia have set up to show you how to do, but the checklists that Charlotte was talking about and my son uses as well would be like a morning routine to get up, brush your teeth, brush your hair, wash your face. And then you could set these up here. So you could have a morning routine, and then again, if it's a work-based, you can set your folders up. So it could be school-based, and you could have activities in there for the morning task, for instance. And again, for anything through the day. We use checklists a lot with myAbilia, Handy Calendar and Memo Planner for skill teaching life skills. So you can set up a checklist that would say, for instance, how to do the washing, and then you would set up a step-by-step how to do the washing and add images in through the way. So here as well, you've got the image archive, and again, you've got the myAbilia ones that are always in there. Oh, bear with me. And you can set up your own photos as well. So this one, like I say, you can see has been set up for a work placement. And this was based on someone that's actually using the Handy Calendar. So you can set up either a task that's just a basic task and add one of these pictures to it, or you can set up a checklist that says how to clean the table, and then you would have step-by-step photos in there. Again, you can use you can set up your own folders. You've also got a folder here that shows mobile pictures, and if that's attached to a phone, then any pictures you take on your mobile phone or your tablet will automatically go into that folder as well, and then you can pull them through. So it's really good if you're working with somebody to show them how to do something and you take step-by-step pictures of them, then you can create a checklist or an activity using those photos. The same principle with notes. We use notes for extra information, social stories. So you can set up a new note. And again, once you've got notes here, you'll have the option to set up folders. So we use, for instance, with my son, if something's going to change on a Saturday, somebody's coming over, then I'll put a social story about who's coming over, when they're leaving, what time they're going to be here, those kind of things. And the voice notes works in the same way. So you can create a new voice note in here. You'll record it, and then that voice note will be available to add on to an activity. So if you've got an activity where somebody would prefer to hear a voice or respond better, especially if it's a high anxiety activity, you can create a voice note, and every time they do that activity, you can just drop it back in without having to recreate it. You've also got your kind of settings within myAbilia. So your profile is literally your login details. You can change your password in there. Modules you don't need to change. This has all of the modules depending on whether you're using Memo Planner or Handy Calendar. They are slightly different in the activities that they allow, and then your license details in the end. There's also a what's new section, and this will take you through anything that gets updated. The development team will pop in here what's been updated. The calendar subscription, you can activate a link and link your calendar to your normal work calendar or your Outlook calendar. It will only show the activity. It won't give the amount of in-depth information that it does in myAbilia or Handy Calendar. This is where you'll add a support person. Again, it's all really easy. New support person, invite a support person. You pop their email address in, press OK, and then that person will get an email to say that you've been invited to support so-and-so's account. You click on it and then you'll set up your login details, and then you'll be able to see that person's calendar that you're supporting. Administrators, like I was saying before, they are people that can set up licenses for people. So if you do become part of a group, you can add an administrator. So if I run through back down to the calendar, setting up let's just go to the day view. Setting up a new activity is really easy. You click on new activity, and then you fill in all the details that are on the screen. You've got the option to on myAbilia to make it the activity available for just yourself or me and my support person. So you've got some privacy there on maybe private appointments that you wouldn't want a school person to see or another member of the family to see. So you literally go through and set up all of those. If you have set up, for instance, when I set up my son's calendar for his school year, you can only enter one start date, one end date. So I set it up for the whole year and then go into Vacation Manager. And this will allow you between certain dates to take out all the activities that you don't want in there. So for instance, if you're going on holiday for a week and everything's going to change for that person, you can just mass delete everything that's in there for that week and reset it up with the new activities. You also have the option to delete activities on this screen. You can copy activities, which is a fairly new feature. So if you set something up in your Handy Calendar or Memo Planner and then think, oh, I should have used a basic activity for that because I'm going to use that again, you do have the option to just copy and paste that activity into another day or another time. And then you can go in and fully edit that activity as well. So that is myAbilia. It's kind of a whistle-stop tour just to show you what it can do. I'm going to come out and stop and then go back to our slideshow. Can you see the slides now? No. Let me go back into it. So that's just kind of an overview of myAbilia and what it can do. Like I say, we will be producing a lot of training videos as well. So each of those steps that I took you through, we will have like a 1-2 minute training video on each of those steps in a bank on YouTube. We're working on those at the moment while we're at home. I'm going to pass you back to Charlotte, that's just going to go through the next few slides, and then we will go through some questions.
So yeah, one of the things that we do get asked quite a lot is the kind of conditions that our cognition range can support, and it's difficult to always kind of go, oh, it's all of these. It's never all of them, but we can support autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, learning disabilities, brain injuries, stroke, and dementia. And and it kind of depends on each individual, all encompassing yes automatically. So if a user needs support with time management and kind of daytime planning management, then it's a solution that could support them. And as I say, it's not a definite yes, it's just a hopeful yes. And so yeah, what we kind of aim for is to increase things like communication between parents and children with additional needs, and building independence and life skills, and to build positive routines, because they obviously become kind of positive habits after a while, but also to help manage things like anxiety, because seeing your day as a visual kind of representation on the calendar actually kind of is proven to reduce anxiety for some people, and to support that, which is a really positive thing. So yeah, I mean, it depends entirely on the individual rather than just being a definite yes. But yeah, we kind of see it as a bit of a broad range of support. And we've put a couple of resources together from Temple Grandin's coronavirus article, which has been really, really helpful. And the National Autistic Society has been amazing for producing some coronavirus resources as well that we've kind of looked through, as well as the Autism Directory charity. They have loads and loads of resources that are helping people at the moment to manage things like anxiety and working from home, teaching from home, and kind of staying on top of supporting those people that need a little bit more support with their management and their time. I think we're going to ask a couple of questions on the polls now, so I'll start those now. And the first one is just where people learned about the webinar.
Should we just have a look through some of these questions as well? I didn't realise there were so many going on. I see you've...
Yeah, I've left a couple because I thought they'd be quite nice to talk about. There's one quite close to the start, SE. I think this would be really helpful in reverse for a disabled person to set tasks for PAs. Can you add a facility for PA to update shopping lists? Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, well, that would be a support. I guess a PA would be the same as a support person.
Yeah.
So you can, like I said, with the myAbilia, you can add as many support persons as you need. So it could be that you have a support person that, again, is your PA. It could be that you have a support person that's an OT that's helping you out with exercises and they put it into your diary. So you can have as many as you need to. So yes, I guess the answer to that would be yes.
And Anita's asked, is the calendar ongoing? She says, where unlikely need it, but say they had an appointment in 18 months' time, can this be inserted into the calendar in 18 months' time?
Oh yes, this is kind of a never-ending calendar. So you can add things to repeat yearly. For instance, if it's a bill, you can add things, like I say, for the whole year. When I do my son's, I do it for the whole year. You can add things that are, like you say, 18 months' time if you've got a follow-up appointment. So yeah, they're kind of, the calendar's ongoing. And when you set up activities, if it's an activity like a morning routine that's going to be the same every day of the week, then you can set that up as an infinite activity with no start or end date.
Brilliant. Michelle's asked, as a support worker, can you set up an activity for more than one user? I.e., if there was a trip, can she set it up for the whole class?
Yes, so we have what's called Group Manager. So if you are looking to set it up for a class, for instance, then you would, when you log on to myAbilia, you'd see a little icon that had 3 people on it. And that's your group. And you can set up as many groups as you need to. So it could be that you have, say, 10 children in your class, and 5 of them would follow one group of activities, and 5 would do something else. So you would have a group for the first 5, a group for the second 5 to put their daily activities in. But it could be that you have a group activity that all 10 of them need, and then you'd set up another group. It could be that 8 of them would be able to follow one activity, and then 2 maybe need an extra bit of support and would be following something else. So you can set up as many groups as you need to for the people's calendars that you look after. And again, that could be in an education setting, it could be in a care home setting, it could be somebody like an outreach worker that's going to lots of different people to manage.
I've had a question, are there any trials available for this?
Yeah, the Handy Calendar app is available to trial for 4 weeks for free, and we will send out a copy of the recording to everybody that's joined us today, and we'll put the link on there on how to set and the information on how to set up the 4-week free trial. If you are going out and visiting people and you'd like to have a handy calendar to show, then just contact one of us and we can arrange that as well. But initially, you get a 4-week free trial just to check that it's going to work for the person. The Memo Planner, we don't offer a free trial on, but then that's because that's hardware. We can show you the Memo Planner app, but the handy calendar, like I say, we can offer a 4-week free trial on that one.
Okay. I've had one person ask about the price for myAbilia.
So the myAbilia is included in the price of the handy calendar and the Memo Planner. So it's an add-on to the products that you purchase rather than something that you can purchase by itself. So the handy calendar is £120 a year. And with that, like I say, you can add as many support people on as you need to, and they will all have access to myAbilia. And you can download it on as many devices as you need to. The Memo Planner, there's some information on the downloadable files at the end on the Memo Planner. That is priced at £7.95 for the small one and £12.95 for the large one. It does include a free app so that if you've got it on a wall, because it's quite a big wall device, so if you've got it on the wall, you can have an app that comes with it. So you've got it on your phone. So if you leave the house, you've always got your Memo Planner with you. And that hardware includes a 3-year license.
Okay. And is there a way that the client can click and confirm they've done an activity and this be sent as a notification to a case manager or family member who may not always be present with the client?
This, at the moment, that's in development. It's something that we've been asked for a lot. So if somebody clicks to say that they've confirmed their activity, at the moment, the only way to check is how I showed you on the live myAbilia. So anything that's checkable will have the circle with an arrow in it. And when it's been checked off, it'll be green. And this is due to the fact that it was always supposed to be kind of user-led rather than group managed. That's how it was designed. The handy calendar app has been in development for 20 years now. So it started off as a kind of a user specific, and it's grown into the more kind of group management that we have today. So that's something that we've been asked for, and it's something that the development team are looking at now, so that anybody supporting will get a notification to say that it hasn't been done. But at the moment, the only way would be to log on to myAbilia and check that everything in green has been ticked off.
I think we've covered all of them. We have had a few requests for previous webinars to be sent out, so we'll get those sent over to people and send this copy out as well to the people that have requested it.
It's probably worth mentioning, like I was saying about development, every single one of our products has their own development team, that everything's been developed in Sweden, because Abilia is a Swedish company, but we do have our own development team for each product. So when people say to us, oh, it would be great if this could happen, then we do feed everything back. And there's been quite a lot of new changes over the last 2 years with the products due to the fact that they've been rolled out into more countries, and we're having really good feedback from people on what it could do. So if you do start using it or you have any feedback on what it could do differently, then do send that to us and we do pass it on.
Definitely.
Perfect. Well, I think that's all of the questions answered. We will go through the chat box afterwards and just drop people emails with specific questions that they've answered, that they've asked, just in case we've missed anything. And we will send everyone a copy so you can have a watch back of the webinar. But if that's everything, we'll say goodbye. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And like I said before, we can send out the links to the previous webinars if you haven't managed to watch those yet. Perfect. Kate. Okay, thank you. Bye.